Hello, I'm going to be talking with you today about how to safely handle the contrabassoon. So here I have an Amati contrabassoon and it is in the standard case. You might be seeing it in the Rilliard case, but regardless of that, I'm going to talk with you about how to safely pull it out and how to handle it and how to put it back in. So the first thing to know is that we mustn't ever pick it up by the top. We want to make sure that we're using two hands and we're going on the side. So you can see me going into here and grabbing it with two hands on the sides, and we always want to carry it in this way where we have a hand here. You never ever want to lift it here. The screws here are very, very tiny and it will absolutely cause this to break. So you want to make sure that you're holding it with two hands at all times. So we never also want to lift it by these braces. These are also held in by very tiny screws, and so it's really important that you not ever lift it up like that. So we're going to have two hands on at all times like that. So the next thing to know is about the bocal. So if you're going to walk with the instrument, you must not put the bocal in like this, and you really shouldn't walk with it like this. You should have it separately, make two trims, use the stand that we have, so that would be helpful as well. It can really scratch up the interior by doing this, so please don't put the bocal in like that, even for just a moment. Please don't do that. Another thing to know is that we do have a crutch, and this will go here, and it is a screw in, and so I'm going to show you how to screw that in. It's important that if you are going to use the crutch, that you make sure that you take it off between uses and that you don't keep it on when it's just inside the case, because that could cause the bracket to get ripped off. So you can twist it on, and then this bolt can be adjusted, and that way you can put it on as far or not far as you want. And so if you're like, hey, I want it like this, and you're like, oh, well, actually, I want it where this part is facing up, you can just loosen that a little bit, and that way it will go exactly where you need it to be and be tight and snug. So then again, for putting it back in, you're going to want to make sure you remove this. In the Amati cases, as you're seeing here, the black interior standard, you can and should keep the peg in when you put it back in the case. You can also take the peg out and put it all the way over to the left. Here, there's a spot for it, but there is absolutely a spot for it here at the right side. So I would just leave it in and push it in a little bit, and that way it's nice and safe in the contra case. I'll show you what that looks like over there. Okay, and so I just wanted to also go over a few things. When you're putting the crutch bracket back, just make sure that you don't lose this little tightening bolt. It's easy for that to get lost, and it's oddly specific, so please try to hang on to that. And you can put it in the accessories component. So now I'm going to show you how to use the contrabassoon stand that we've provided. So there are a couple of things that are very intuitive about it, but a couple of pitfalls as well, so I just want to go over that. The first thing to note is that we may have put some stickers here that says hold here and then pull here. So we have this matte part and then this shiny part of the shaft. So it's important that you hold here on that matte part. If you don't hold that, if you just pull it up, then all of this whole mechanism will just come off, and it's not fun to have to put it back in. It's a little tricky. So with one hand, hold on the matte part, and then you'll have loosened this screw right here, and you're going to pull this out. It's usually a little bit firm, it's a little bit tight, so you're going to pull it out a fair amount, and then you're going to tighten that bolt that we loosened before. And so see how I kept holding on to this matte part. Then for the bottom of it, we're going to loosen this screw right here, and then this base must be as wide as possible. Like you can see here, if this was on the floor, the cup is sort of facing that way. We want the cup to be facing straight up and down. So make the footprint, make the footprint wide so that the cup is facing up. So once you've got it wide, you're going to tighten this bolt, so that it's not going anywhere, and see how that is facing straight up. I'll show you this when it's on the ground. See how that's facing upwards. And then I'll show you here. There's one more thing that we need to do, which is to take the neck part and make it go upwards. So I'm going to loosen this, and then I'm going to have this facing upwards just a little bit. You can see that angle there. And then I'm going to show you what it's like when we put the contrabassoon in that stand. So you can see we've got the part, this is the part that's facing you, and then you have like this hand brace. And so we're going to have it so that it would be facing you, and then the hand brace is over to the left. And we want to make sure, really, this can be just about anywhere, the neck. I like to have it pretty high. You cannot avoid hitting something here. There's always something that this neck part is going to hit. So if you're like, oh, I want to avoid this rod, you really can't. And that's okay. What I will say is make sure that you avoid being right on this crutch holder. So I'm going to show you what that would look like. I'm putting this down like too far. And so this would be like dangerously close. So if it was like down a little bit more, it would be bumping into this crutch brace here. And so we just don't want to have that. So even if you wanted to have it a little bit lower, that's okay, as long as it clears this brace. I don't think that's as sturdy. I would rather have it a little bit taller, but this is acceptable. So just kind of giving you a sense of how that would be in the stand and how to properly use the stand. And hopefully it'll lead to your enjoyment and safe use.